Hello everyone, welcome to PRATHAM Test Prep YouTube channel. I am Ashish Bhargav and welcome to each and everyone for daily news analysis. And here we are in the another episode of daily news analysis. So as we know that the newspaper is very essential for the students who are preparing for the exam like CUET, CLAT and AILET exam. In this daily news analysis, we discuss all the important current events and as well as national international relations, and as well as we cover the Supreme Court verdict that is very important for the students who is preparing for especially for the CLAT and AILET exam. So now for the proceeding, if you are new in this channel, please subscribe and share to each and everyone so that the maximum number of students can get advantage. So first we discuss about headlines of the day, what we will discuss in the today class. The first we discuss about Jal Jivan Mission, which is already asked in your CLAT 2020. So here's the article we have extracted from The Hindu, and what subject and topic we covered, that is government schemes. Second, we discuss about hyperloop of technology. That is, as we know that the hyperloop technology, that is a next medium of transportation, which is the speed of 1200 kilometers per hour. And the news that we have extracted from The Hindu and Indian Express as well. And the topic we covered in subject science and tech. That is very important. Infant care, that is we discussed about the data. Sometimes the data based question they will use to ask in your exam, like as per the census of 2011, as per the census of 2011, what was the fertility rate, and as we know that there are many things that we need to discuss. Then we discuss about Sundarban Delta, that is source taken from The Hindu, and the topic we covered from the geography. What is the significance of Sundarban's Delta? And then the fifth article we discuss about cause of inflation and what is the ratio of world wholesale price index and consumer price index, and why RBI is taking consumer price index. Earlier it was wholesale price index. What is the how to curb the inflation, what is the RBI monetary policy, that all these things we discuss about in this article. Then we discuss about Nord Stream pipeline, which is very daily in the news, and that is taken from The Hindu, that we discuss about international relation, how it impacted from the different Gulf nation, and we can say about that OPEC country. Next one we discuss about Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin, that rural we discussed in yesterday YouTube session. So Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin that we discussed, that we have extracted from The Hindu, and the topic we covered, that is government schemes. And the last, as we know, that questions of the day. So I request everyone, if you are new in this channel, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for more updates. So a little progress each day adds up to big results. Try to inculcate all these things what we have discussed in the class, and try to focus on your skills. That is very important. So as we know that we have initiated questions of the day. So at the end of the YouTube session we discuss about 2 to 3 questions that will be very important, because you have to develop such kind of temperament to solving MCQs. So here the first article, 62% rural house have tap water connections. So about the Jal Jivan Mission, and that is piped water supplied all rural household by 2024. So Jal Jivan Mission, what is the aim and target for the government of India? That what is Jal Jivan Mission? As you know, in June, Center reported the figure of 52%. Tamil Nadu, Himachal Pradesh, Goa and Puducherry reported more than 80% of households with fully functional connections, while fewer than half the household in Rajasthan, Kerala, Manipur, Tripura and Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Mizoram and Sikkim had such connections. So what was that was the Union Budget 2019 and 20. It has already been discussed that integrated demand and supply side management of water in the local area. That is very important, because the reason behind, as we know that the pipe water supply water is very essential. Only 1% of water is available in our earth, that is for drinking water. The rest, all the waters that, as we know that is not in the use, that we cannot use for the irrigation of our cultivated land. So while further moving, like we know that it will coverage with other central and state government schemes and creation of local infrastructure for rainwater harvesting. So the government are promoting that is the main aim of Jal Jivan Mission, that rainwater harvesting. So what government wants in the kind of pond that will enables groundwater recharge as well as pond ecosystem. and management of household wastewater and reuse in agriculture. So this is what about Jal Jivan Mission. While further moving, as you know, we have to be a short brief about Jal Jivan Mission because that is launched 2019. That is a year is very known to be important because sometimes they will ask you directly that what is Jal Jivan Mission when it was launched. So they will give you such kind of options 1, 2, and 3 and 4. So you have to click in because because you have to understand that the historical background that is very important. So it was launched in 2019. It envisages supply 55 liters of water per person per day to every rural households through functional household tap connection FSTC by 2024. So the year that we need to be recalled by when was the ambition, that 2024. And one more thing we need to keep in mind, when it was launched 2019. So Jal Jivan Mission looks to create a Jan Andolan for water, thereby making it everyone priority. And sometimes they will ask you that is Jal Jivan Mission is comes under which ministry. So you have to keep in mind it comes under Jal Shakti Ministry. Jal Shakti Ministry is the nodal agency of Government of India that would be solely responsible for the Jal Jivan Mission. While further moving, what is the aim? The mission ensures functionality of existing water supply system and water connections, water quality monitoring and testing, as well as sustainable agriculture. It also ensures conductive use of conserved water, drinking water sources, augmentation, drinking water supply system, grey water treatment and its reuse. Jal Jivan Mission focused on integrated demand and supply side management of water in the local level. As we know that there is many cities in our country that have a water scarcity. So that's why government is planning to launch these schemes, and our ambition is that till 2024 the tap water connections must be used for each and every one. So creation of local infrastructure for source sustainability measurement as mandatory elements like rainwater harvesting, groundwater recharge and management of household wastewater for reuse. So that is all about Jal Jivan Mission. While further moving is that Hyperloop doomed, why next big thing of transport has stalled. What exactly is Hyperloop doomed? Hyperloop doomed is such kind of technology, and which with the help of this technology that we can say that we can that is the speed of this Hyperloop doomed is 1200 km per hour. 1200 km per hour. So we can say that it has to be a British person, the first initiated in the time of 17th century. Now Tesla, that we can say that Elon Musk has initiated the Hyperloop doomed. So in this article, as we know that it has been a transportation dream for more than 150 years in the 1870. As in this article it has mentioned the year. A test system used like vacuum tube to propel people under Manhattan from Warren Street by Moody Street, that we can say that by 2010 it was aimed to be propelled. As we know that the Hyperloop loom, that is a new technology. So initially we need to understand that what exactly Hyperloop doomed. So Hyperloop is a proposed system of transport that would see parts of container traverse at high speed through a tube that has been pumped into a near vacuum. The train pods would either float using magnetic levitation technology, that is quite similar to that we can say is, and the bullet train is working. As we know that the magnetic function is working, is magnetic, like we can say the same pole that we can say is repel, and unlike pole that we can say attract. So here we use the same poles so that the such kind of frictions, there is no frictions at all, that pole that is known to be a pods. So pods would be able to travel at immense speed at projected 760 mile per hour. So if you convert it to, it means almost 1200 km per hour is the speed. The pod will initially launch using an electric motor before levitation takes place, and the pod can glide at cruising speed in the low pressure environment. Hyperloop, one of the company which is working on this technology, has proposed route in UK, Netherlands, Finland, Dubai. It has backing from government to explore the potential of this system. So as we need to understand that in India, here is a Mumbai and here is a Pune. So 160 kilometers journey time by rails by 2 hours 43 minutes. Journey time by hyperloops, as we can see, that is 25 minutes. It will take only 25 minutes to reach from Mumbai to Pune. So how the things we can see that the initial time in our country, that was the bullock cart, that was the means of transportation is the earlier time in the ancient and as well as medieval times. Now we can see how the things were changing, because the switch from the scratch, and now we are like using the hyperloop that is proposed by the government of India. While further moving, we need to understand how the exactly is working the hyperloop. As we know that here is a hyperloop is all about. So the hyperloop train is a brainchild of billionaire Elon Musk, former boss of the PayPal and founder of electric company Tesla. A scale of hyperloop compared to London Tube, that we can see there are kind of tube, and once the person is going to be travel, so it is completely not completely in the vacuum. As you know, vacuum, which means that means we can say there is no air at all. So hyperloop tube supporting above ground on columns are tunneled below ground to avoid dangerous crossing and wildlife. So how its speed compare, as we know that Eurostar 186 km/mile per hour, bullet trains 275 meter per hour, Boeing 737 is in Jet Airways, that is a 485 miles per hour, and Hyperloop is 760 mile per hour, and Concorde is 1354 mile per hour. Train is propelled by electromagnet on the central layer. Electromagnet, which means there is no frictions, and there is no frictions at all, and there is, we can say, such kind of we can say that is a kind of pod. So hyper ones, that is we can say, is initially top speed 760 mile per hour. So if we convert into in the kilometer per hour, it is almost 1200 kilometer per hour. Pods carry passengers or cargo at 760 meter per hour. So basically this is very very important technology. And how it works, as we know that this kind of blade, it has been used to minimize frictions. A powerful fan at the front would suck the air in the tube to the rear, because as we know that this is not completely vacuum tube, because this tube is basically not completely vacuum, which means there is no air at all. So capsules pull along by magnetic attractions. And journey time, as we know that San Francisco to Los Angeles, that is covered only for the 1 hour 15 minutes. Train depart every 30 seconds at peak time. Ticket would be cost not too much, as we can say. So the tube could be above or below ground and designed to withstand earthquakes. Each capsule floats on the cushions of air in creates it moves forward. So Concorde, as we know that Concorde, Hyperloop, Boeing 7037 bullet train, and Eurostar, how it would be compared, that we have already discussed. Traveling in a tube, the technology, the capsule with passenger travel at a speed of more than 1200 km per hour inside a vacuum tube. Vacuum tube, initially the person, once we travel, so sometimes that we can say the kind of anxiety the person can feel initially, but once the person is very familiar, that would be no issue at all. So vacuum tube has a area at a low pressure inside it. So India plans Hyperloop can build in India in 38 months. Globally 800 engineers working on the Hyperloop, of which 25 area from India. It uses power from renewable energy source like solar energy and regenerating braking and wind power. These tubes stand on pylons that can withstand quakes and crashes. So this is all about that we can see the Hyperloop in our country. As we know that 550 kilometers we covered in only 35 minutes. So this capsule, that is a vacuum capsules where the passenger is traveling, and we can say that here is pylons, here is a tube, here is air and air cushions in this part, and solar panels along all track provide clean energy. And it will time spent, as we can say that, as we have already covered, here is a main route, here is a branch route. So that kind of things that we are planning for Hyperloop, this is not, we can say, is a too much cost at all. Okay, this is what all about is Hyperpools is working. This is a vacuum tube, here is the pods we can see in that places, here is the all the airs is throwing outside in this with the help of this fan, and the passenger traveling here. So this is what all about is Hyperloop, and this is the modern way of transportation, as we can say that, because a person can travel 1000 kilometer distance in just in less than 1 hour. So the Virgin Hyperloop has completed the world's first passenger ride on super high-speed levitating pod system in the United States. The here is about in India, Maharashtra government has deemed Hyperloop a public infrastructure project and approved the Virgin Hyperloop DP World Consortium as the original project proponent for the Mumbai-Pune Hyperloop project. Niti Aayog, which means full form is National Institution for Transforming India. Aayog cleared 6 new proposals for the public transportation system of India. These technologies include Matrino, Stadler buses, Hyperloop, pod taxis, hybrid buses, and freight railroad. So this will help out our transportation system. So Hyperloop is a new mode of ultra-fast mass transportation solution that transport people and cargo through a pod in a vacuum environment. Working Hyperloop works through the concept of shooting pods or compartments of passengers through an airtight tube that is a partial vacuum. The propulsion is done through magnetic levitation with the air capsules or pods gliding or levitating over the tracks. The maglev train system uses 2 sets of magnet, one for attracting and moving the train, and we can say that forward along the track, and another is repelling and pushing the train off the track. As we know that when we attract the same pole, because as we know the science rule, the same charge is repel and unlike charge is attract to each other. So advantage is high speed, noiseless system, time and fuel saving. Challenges: the magnetic levitation system have been hard to build and maintain due to the cost of maintaining a vacuum. So this is all about the article. Here is we talk about R.K. Viz, the former Special Director of Police of Chhattisgarh, and he was a former IPS officer. He's talking about infant abandonment. That is important because as we know that the last month in Tamil Nadu, a 2-year-old girl was found alone in government bus. The crying toddler was handed over the Dharampuri police station, which tracked her mother to help of CCTV footage. The mother said that after a quarrel with her husband, she has tried to abandon their child in a bus. So how the child care is very, very important. So this is all about the article because Child Welfare Committee is solely responsible for this. You need to understand CWC, Child Welfare Committee. And Juvenile Justice Act 2015 will not allow to any person to throw the child or toddler, we can say. So this is no much to need to be go to the details. As you know that there is a main work of caring of child in the rural area, that is the work of ASHA workers. And who is the ASHA workers? Similar we can say in the urban area there is a sisters or we can say nurses, and the rural areas that we can say that there is an ASHA workers. ASHA workers, which means we can say that is a accredited social health activist. So accredited social health activist. This is a full form of ASHA workers. As we know that there is sometimes that we can say Anganwadi workers also and ASHA workers also dies with there is a many names that we can say it here. So ASHA workers, that must be a person or we can say a widow who must be a married woman and who take care of the child in the rural area. This is the main work of ASHA workers, right? So this is the things that we need to discuss in this article. While further moving, here is protector of Sundarbans, Delhi and Dhaka must unite. So this article is talking about, here is the part of Sundarbans that we know that is the largest delta. What is delta? In short, we can say what is delta. How can you define delta? Delta is nothing but we can say that once the river meet to the ocean that makes a triangular shape, that is known to be a delta. So when the river meets an ocean that makes a triangular shape, that is known to be a delta as per the definition that is mentioned in the NCERT. So here we can the Sundarban Delta that is located in the Bay of Bengal. So what is the significance of Sundarban's Delta? Because that is the largest mangrove forest in the world. Mangrove, which means we can say that here are some parts and roots that we can visible in the water and some parts in the upper part, and this will help out in the flood system. As we know that because mangrove is very, very important to protect it somewhere the land, it will help in the process of soil erosion. It will the things because we know that because soil erosion is a very dangerous some parts, as we can say landslide is occurred in somewhere. So that means we can say mangrove will help in out in such things. So Sundarbans was made UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987 and could become a Ramsar site soon. So we can say area of Sundarbans. Here is 125 square kilometer wetland area, home to about 100 Royal Bengal tigers, 26 Ramsar sites in India, including East Kolkata wetlands, 43% of India mangrove cover in the Sundarbans. So this is all about, the article is talking about Sundarbans. So we can say the Sundarbans are a cluster of low-lying islands in the Bay of Bengal spread across India and Bangladesh. So this is not confined only in India, it is confined to the India and Bangladesh. The famous for its unique mangrove forest, it occupies a position of importance of tourist spots and scenic beauty it provides for the famous and majestic Royal Bengal tigers. As we know that Sundarbans is largely dependent on fisheries and aquaculture and may change in delicate ecosystem spells too, not only for ecology but also for livelihood. What is the significance of Sundarbans Delta? Sundarbans hosts the largest mangrove forest in the world, lying on the delta of Ganges, Brahmaputra and Meghna rivers on the Bay of Bengal. So we can say that it is the largest mangrove forest in the world, lying on the delta of Ganges, Brahmaputra and Meghna rivers. Brahmaputra is somewhere in the part of Assam. Mangrove ecosystem is very specialized environment occurring in between the land and the sea in the tropical and subtropical region. And Sundarbans is the natural abode of many groups of animals, and large number of species are known to feed, breed and take shelter in this ecosystem. It's home to many rare and globally threatened wildlife species such as estuarine crocodile, water monitors, lizard, Gangetic dolphin and olive ridley turtle. 40% of Sundarbans lies in India and rest in Bangladesh. So data need to keep in mind, 40% of Sundarbans lies in India and rest 60%, that is rest in Bangladesh. Sundarbans was designated UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987. This data is also more important. And 1997, that's not same year that has goes to be Bangladesh. 1987, that is a part of India, and 1997, that is part of Bangladesh. What is challenge related to the Sundarbans? Sea level rises and we can see salinity of water increases. As we know that, like salinity of water increases, what is the impact? So as we know that, because the reason Zuzanthale, it is something that we can say coral reefs. Coral reefs is we can say the wildlife ecosystem. The coral reefs is playing a vital role in the, we can say, a pond and we can say a water ecosystem. So once there is salinity of water rises, then the zooxanthellae, that is something the part of, we can say, part of sodium occurs over there, and that's why we can say that coral reefs started dying. So that's will, because of some coral reefs are, we can say, is depending that maintaining the food web and food chain of water ecosystem. The rising salinity is reducing the productivity of fish pond and farmland, resulting in even lower income of poor and vulnerable households. Here we talk about like box in high speed restraint consumption inflation. As we know, the inflation, cause of inflation, rise in production, poor rise in industrial production, increased public expenditure, difficulty in financing, and we get storage of necessary raw material and unreliable agriculture growth. This is what about, like we can say, cause of inflation. How RBI measure the inflation in our country? There is two weight measures. That is, one is WPI and second is CPI. WPI, which means wholesale price index, and CPI is consumer price index. Earlier it was wholesale price index, but later on that we can say later on one former RBI governor is recommended RBI to change WPI to CPI. Why RBI measures the tools of consumer price index? The reason behind, wholesale price index is only talking about goods, while CPI is talking about goods and services both. So this is, we can see that effect of inflation, the positive effect we can say of inflation, benefit on inflators, early and first recipients of the inflated money. Bid cartels destroy small sellers, borrowers. Inflation may reduce the severity of economic recessions, and top in effect, that is increase investment also. Investment, which means we can say that inflation can create a job also. Inflation can create a job, but how it is? Inflation can create a job, but how? As we know that, because the time of inflation, for example, we will take one example of a farmer. A farmer have almost 20 kg potato, and 1 kg potato price was around 10. But at the time of inflation, that 1 kg price that goes to 20 rupees. So at the time of when the price was 1 rupees potato is 10, then there was a 3 employee were hired of a farmer, namely X, Y and Z. And after that, once the 1 rupees goes to the, sorry, 1 kg goes to the 20 kilogram, then the person got more money, so that they will hire more person for the job. So this will boost up our, we can say, job growth. So inflation will help it out in investment as well as we can say that job creation. But we can say at the time of, for example, 1 rupees potato goes to the 80 rupees, no person will come there to the buyer, no buyer come to the shopkeeper to purchase this. This will, we can say, loosen the job of X, Y and Z as well. So this is, we can say that the hyperinflation, this will occurred in the Sri Lanka and the past 8 months earlier. And what is the negative impact? Hoarding, because as we know that people came to know that this price is going to be higher, so that they will start hoarding, distortion of relative prices, increased risk, income diffusion effect, existing creditors will be hurt, fixed income recipient will be hurt, and lower national savings, because people are reluctant to purchase this. As we know that here is WPI, wholesale price index, here is consumer price index. If you're in your exam, that if they will ask you what tools is using by the RBI to measure the inflation in our country, the answer would be the consumer price index, right? So consumer price index, amount of average, and consumer price index is indicate the average changes, and wholesale price index, amount of average, focused on price of goods traded between business hours, and here is price by goods purchased by consumers. That's why RBI prefer CPI tools. And who publish wholesale price index in our country? Office of Economic Advisor, and CPI use Central Statistical Office, CSO. Measurement of inflation, first stage of transactions. Here is we talk about final stage of transactions. It covers only goods, and it covers goods and services both. So this is, you need to keep in mind why RBI using CPI for measuring inflation in our country, because they are measuring goods and services, and WPI is only talking about goods. So here is Durga Puja economy. As we know, it's a short topic in the newspaper article. So as we know, is a UNESCO Durga Puja UNESCO ICH, which is known to be a intangible cultural heritage, in the first festival in Asia to achieve recognition of UNESCO ICH of humanity. Earlier, UNESCO announced the Harappan city of Dholavira in Gujarat, India 40th World Heritage Site. Durga Puja 5-day festival, which begins with the 5th night of the 9-day Navratri festivals, ends in the 10th day, which is Dashmi. And this festival, we can say that Durga Puja in Kolkata, that is got UNESCO ICH intangible cultural heritage site, that is recognized by the UNESCO. And here the last article that we talk about, what happened to the Nord Stream pipeline. As we know that the different points of the Nord Stream pipeline linking Russia and Europe since September 26, and the two of the leaks weakened the Swedish water's vine, while the other two were reported from the Danish water. Both Danish and Swedish seismologists picked up undersea explosion near the location. So it will connect to the Nord pipelines. It will connect from Russia to different countries in the Europe. And why do international bodies think that the leaks of the pipelines were the result of sabotage? What are the going to be environment effect on such a leak? Because as we know that the environment impact, because all the water ecosystem that will be, we can say, destroyed, the food chain and food web of the water ecosystem would be destroyed. One more thing you need to understand, like just a second guys. Because as we know that the water ecosystem is very important. Once the oil will float in the surface of water, this will increase to the surface tension as well. So the many animals will not survive. This will resulted in the and led to the threaten of the, we can say, water ecosystem. So here is not pipeline from Russia. So as we know, here is a Greifswald, and there are many places that will connect it to the European country. So Nord Stream, the longest subsea pipeline and export gas pipeline which runs under the Baltic Sea carrying gas from Russia. So this need to be important, that runs under the Baltic Sea carrying gas from Russia to different many countries to Europe. Next is Telangana Scoop Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin 2020. So Swachh Sarvekshan, the rank 1, that is goes to the Indore city, that we had already discussed in the yesterday YouTube session of daily newspaper analysis. So Telangana Scoop Swachh Sarvekshan. So we need to keep again, the Swachh Sarvekshan is a state of hygiene, cleanliness and sanitation in rural areas, and the initiative to award open defecation free plus status of village. Open defecation which means खुले में शौच करने के लिए यूज करते हैं इस वर्ड को. Open defecation free. So ODF plus status aims to ensure management of a solid as well as liquid waste, and that is the upgradation of ODF status, in which construction of adequate toilets was required so that people did not have to defecate in the open, and it is carried out by an expert of agencies. So Swachh Bharat Mission, that is Gramin Phase 2, it is emphasized the plastic waste management in rural India, and it will implement from 2021 to 2014 to 2025, and totally outlay of many crores. The fund sharing between state and center and state, because as we know that many states, many northeast states are too much vulnerable in terms of, we can say, the terrain area and in terms of development is concerned. So state, center and state will be 90 to 10 for the northeastern states of Himalayan states, and UT of Jammu and Kashmir 60 to 40, and other state that is 100% for the union territories. Swachh Bharat Mission, you have to keep in mind, to accelerate the efforts to achieve universal sanitation coverage, the Prime Minister of India has launched Swachh Bharat Mission on 2nd October 2014 at the day of Gandhiji birthday. So almost we covered, almost 8 years have been gone. Under the mission, all village, Gram Panchayat, district, state and union territories in India declare themselves open defecation free ODF by 2nd October 2019. The 158th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, by constructing over 100 million toilets in rural India. Swachh Bharat Mission is being implemented by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. This is need to keep in mind. Sometimes they will ask you the ministry name, so you have to keep an eye the what exactly the answer would be. So Swachh Bharat Mission, that is launched by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and by the Ministry of Jal Shakti for urban and rural areas respectively. There's two ministries solely responsible, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Ministry of Jal Shakti for urban and rural areas respectively. So Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin was launched in 2022. So this is, keep in mind, the Gramin Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin was launched in 2020. And here we now questions of the day. This is very, very important because we have to inculcate all these things, and we have to develop such kind of temperament so that you will be able to solve the questions in your exam hall, because the many students I have seen they trap such kind of dilemma, like what could be the answer of this question, because gathering information in your brain, in your mind, and solving question, that two are different things. So further moving, the questions is here. It is the first question. The term mankading, sometimes seen in the news, is related to which sport? Hockey, football, cricket, chess. Take your time, 10 to 15 seconds. So the answer would be here, cricket. So what is mankading? So term comes from the name of legendary former Indian cricketer Vino Mankar. In 1947, when India were playing a series in Australia, Mankar dismissed opposition batsman Bill Braun twice by taking off the bails to the non-striker and before releasing the ball. So this is the mankading. Second one, consider following statement regarding World Trade Organization, WTO. So the World Trade Organization is the only global international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations. Second, it is officially commenced operation in 1st January 1995 under the Marrakesh Agreement. After WTO came into existence, General Agreement on Trade and Tariff (GATT) ceased to exist. Which statement are correct? So A, B, C and D. Take your time and try to solve it. Okay, so I hope you got the answer. If first and second statement is correct, yes. So World Trade Organization is the only global international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations. It was established in 1995. It replaced General Agreement on Trade and Tariff, which was placed in 1946. WTO officially commenced 1st January 1995 under the Marrakesh Agreement signed by 123 nations on 15th April. So why it was second option was incorrect? Because the mentioned 1st January 1995. This was we can see it was in 1st January 1995 under the Marrakesh Agreement signed by 123 nations. India has been a member of GATT since 1948. Hence, it was party to Uruguay round and founding member of WTO. While WTO came into existence in 1995, GATT did not cease to exist. It continues to WTO umbrella treaty for trade and goods. That's why third statement is statement is incorrect. So C would be the right answer. That is first and second statement that would be correct one. So I hope every students you enjoyed session a lot. Stay tuned at 11:30 a.m. daily from Monday to Friday. We'll meet you soon tomorrow at the same time, and stay tuned at 3 p.m. and today is deep dive session. Thank you so much for watching the news, watching the daily newspaper analysis with Ashish Bhargav. Let's meet you tomorrow at the same time. Stay tuned. Take care. Bye bye, and happy Navratri to everyone.